the initiation factor, but I think more so for peeling, right? Because the initiation this time, with the lineup that they have, should be coming from Omega.
Yeah. We talked about the dynamics of the heroes on both sides, but I would say that Smart Omega has this one glaring problem. You know, their lineup is really freaking greedy.
Yeah, it is. Is that because of the Alice?
Alice and Claude, yeah. I mean, Smart Omega has been known to really stress the amount of late game power that they have, but this is insanely greedy coming up from the barangay.
Well, knowing them and being on the chase to get their playoff dreams alive, I say Omega is going all in. And now we're about to see a possibility to enter a third game. But right now, let's look on how Nexplay EVOS would really work with this recipe. Because we were talking about how you guys explained how the Ruby could be a good peel, a good ingredient. Well, let's see. Because there's a lot of ways. Either you deplete out resources or you make the pace of the game.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, a lot of this is the CC potential that NXPE has to either peel for the team, find out some of those objectives, especially with an Eve. Again, you're pairing this up with an Eve, right? Real-world manipulation is going to do work and do wonders, whereas Omega needs a little bit more time to build up here, right? So even with this early game poking that they're doing around the lanes, we know how kind of Alice works, right? She takes some time to get to the point where she is a threat in the jungle, where in comparison, you know, we've seen Fredrin pretty much 90, I think it's 93% of the time now throughout the season. So
Yep.
the picture is painted for Fredrin. And that's what you expect from Boyet anyway.
Yeah, your main concern here for NXP, honestly, is the fact that you don't have any you don't have that much up against the Claude and Kelra. Even though Claude is a late game hero, he's been shown to able to play the Claude in the mid game, and I feel like momentum for the gold lane is very, very important here for both sides. And Doming, with a lot of the setups coming out from both Yellow Haze and Brusco, should be able to get this massive momentum during the mid game. But it's also a question of how much do you slow down the Claude from getting to a point where he just becomes so massive.
Well, now they need to worry about Chase Stone.
They use the real world manipulation. They already get the flicker out from Stone though, but that is an important ultimate down for this turtle. So Omega's gonna know that.
Petrify?
There's electric final blow with the Petrify. They're trying to get the kill. Cold Holder comes out. Ding falls here. Turtle secured by Boyet though. So it seemed like it was part of the plan, given that whole sequence, how things fell into place.
They're trading on.
If that play was 1 second earlier, he would have killed off Storm, but Storm got 4 at the most crucial moment. Well, having the support play on the X-Blade is a fundamental gameplay now. With Giga though, ooh, flicker, forced the flicker onto the Kacha. This is going to give a lot of space for NXP. You don't have the aggressive tool for Smart Omega to make plays.
Yeah, they're stolen something out of the jungle camp of NXPE. So right now, it's all about depleting resources and going on good trades. I say NXP is eyeing on something that they want to delay with. Renzio, on the other hand, against Ding.
Oh,
Ouch.
gonna flicker in. Renzio sees blood. Not going to be able to get the kill, though. Ding survives. Boyet there to help him out. The rest of the team making their way as well. Miko and Yelly Haze. Should have resulted in much. There's their Praiser's Wrath. Renzio, can't get away. Falls in the real-world manipulation. Yelly Haze with barely any mana, able to come in and help his team.
Yeah, again, the shot calls are there. Probably somebody called that the Lapu Lapu would be dead. I mean, if you're a Fredin, you don't want to be fighting into a Lapu Lapu, but you know, the trap was laid by NXP, and Yelly Haze was able to secure himself a kill onto the Lapu Lapu. Again, these are really crucial kills because you want to be able to get everything on the early game, because for NXPE, the tools that they need, they have to make sure that they make it work against this squad.
Oh, Ryzen saved by the Cult Altar. Thought he was going to be able to get taken out there by NXPE, but you know, this is, again, one of the tools that Omega can work around. But you can clearly see the early game pressure that NXPE has over this lineup from Omega.
Yeah. By the way, I just realized that this is such a deadly combo on the later stages of the game. Like the Blood Ode and the Cult Altar. There's just this insane ghost chasing you around, slowing you down, regaining some HP back, and dealing damage. And if you look at the lineup of NXP, they don't have any answers against that.
High sustain, good pickoff rate, and how Keller could feed onto those teams. Let's look at someone got a pull. Ryzen!
Oh, Ryzen's going to be in trouble. Doming grabbing that kill for himself. So with the numbers advantage here, NXP going to be looking to take this second turtle if they can. Might be better if Omega just gives it up. It looks like they're going to go ahead and do that.
late game. I'm just thinking about how this could mean danger for Nexplay EVOS, because if that's the case, they all need to play this right with their cards, the good trades that we're talking about.
And really important for Smart Omega to just look for the gold, the resource essentially on the map. But for NXP, they are the ones who are in a position where they have to make plays. It's not like you are able to make plays. It's a requirement for you to make plays on a map because you don't allow this Claude to just be able to farm up without any form of trades.
Renzio gonna have to flicker out. Yelly Haze on the hunt though. Saw Stone, but they're ultimately going to put some pressure on this top turret. Not gonna be able to get it down though. But they also did get the flicker out from Renzio.
Okay, peeling and forcing out on some defense of Smart Omega right now. I say Ryzen is just trying to build up momentum on how they want it to be, how can they soak the damage of next base, because on the lead, Doming is ahead by like a level ahead against, well, Keller 30 seconds ago, and now it's becoming, could be a great factor of a threat.
Yeah, NXP, they're gearing up for the mid-game spike that they have. Interesting thing, they are went for the Bloodlust Axe instead of the typical Counter-Strike that we see from Benedetta that want to make plays on the map. Stone almost died there. However, they're going to be able to just get the tower here in the mid lane for NXP, which is not bad. You need more. You need all the towers that you can get for NXP.
That looked weird. That looked like, you know, Stone was like, are we going to fight this or not? And there was might have been a call there because he was ready to go and then he flickered out when, you know, they called it off. They should have just given up that turret, you know, without really expending anything. But here comes the conceal. Boyette's the closest target. Miko's going to flicker in. They're going to pull
Ding!
him. Ding there to help him out. Nice petrify. Going to force them back here. Now Stone popping the Cold Soldier down. Ding is going to be in trouble here. Whittled down, but not going to go down. 1 or 2 shots away from Kelra. So all this leading into that third turtle of the game. NXPE finding themselves a nice lead here, 3.5K, and they're going to solidify that even more with this next take.
They pleaded out 4 ultimates onto Smart Omega, peeling them back to base, and no contest for this turtle.
Yeah, you're going to be happy with that if you're NXPE. I mean, Smart Omega just committed a lot of their resources just to make sure that the pickoff doesn't happen. I mean, the fight doesn't happen because the idea was they wanted to pick off Boyette before the turtle spawned, but Ding had just amazing angle with the Electrifying Blow and Petrify and NXP. They're capitalizing on that error.
Goes in with I'm Offended flicker combination, but Kelra going to force them back. Renzio goes in with a flicker himself. They punish NXP with a little bit of overzealous there, but they're going to go ahead and trade across the map, grabbing the tier 2 as well.
This is still really, really good for NXP. You're shutting down the resources of Smart Omega. You're now able to completely take over this jungle. You'll always have vision over the heroes of Smart Omega. And in turn, that means no playing room for Miko and Iskacha.
Well, speaking of play in the room, look at the items right now. Oh, almost half HP onto Miko, doming with that shot. Now to go back here, look at the progress of Ryzen now. Clock of Destiny, and also for Claude, not get a second item right away. I mean, he's there behind on damage, but if you want that full sustain that the 2 heroes that Smart Omega can do, you would need to activate yourself much more early and with the golden staff.
Yeah, I mean, for Smart Omega, they're really in desperate mode to just get some, you know, some form of gold or farm on the map. But NXP, they're willing to throw bodies for Smart Omega to just completely, you know, negate the resources.
Oh, again, the pull comes in with the Divine Judgment. Brusco, the miss of it all, but there's the Cold Altar. Quite a bit of damage comes down. Yelly Haze still up here. They finally take him out. Domeng, though, punishing Ryzen. They're still going. Only 1 down for Omega. Still working on it. Boyette 1 versus 4 here. Gonna be able to escape. Ding still pushing mid lane. NXP losing a lot of firepower there once Domeng and Yelly Haze were taken out.
Kelra coming from the back line. You just divided Nexplay EVOS ultimate team fighting capability just right there.
And also, there is a reason why Renzio is nicknamed the Showstopper. You know, just getting that access towards the back line, shutting off the Beatrix and the Eve. If you are able to land those combos onto these 2 heroes, if their HP falls really, really low, NXP is not going to be able to fight because they know for a fact that Kelra will just be able to swipe them out. I mean, wipe them out during the Blazing Duet. So props to Renzio for just, you know, focusing on that backline because it's really the most important aspect of this team fight. If you are able to whittle down the HPs of both Yelly Haze and Doming, you essentially are winning the fight for Smart Omega.
And now just trade it off. Just let that objective go at Nexplay EVOS, and I say they have eyes on their late game possibility, and they're not letting go of that.
That's one of the things, right? As the game goes further and further onward, the scaling for Omega is going to be there, but, you know, still, to give up a Lord like that, you should be able to defend it. But obviously, NXP is going to work around it, get a couple more turrets if they can, especially in that mid lane. So here's one thing I wanted to point out. What we saw even from yesterday.
Stack on 5 heroes with Art of Thievery and chase you down. So I feel like Benedetta this time around has to play alongside Beatrix.
That's a good point that you guys pointed out and how we discussed on that pause. Because right now, we were thought about go laners on Omega and NXPE. And in this game, Doming is ahead by 2 levels up against Kelro. So I say, with all of the things happening in Nexplay EVOS, if they crumble down on that hesitation again, those mistakes could be capitalized by Omega.
For the damage. Ooh, damage.
Ow.
That was a damage test.
Yeah,
Yep, that was a check.
Oh my gosh.
So he's going to get checked. Domeng knows exactly what he's doing. But Omega is going to hold on to the inhibitor turret for now. No forced initiations, although a conceal was used.
Huh.
So no go signal.
This is again a commitment issue from NXP.
Yep.
If they were willing to commit conceal at that moment, why not wait? Why wait for the Lord to die? Could have just concealed and maybe
Throw Brusco in there.
yeah,
That's the bodies
throw
you're talking
Brusco
about.
there. You know,
Throw the bodies in.
Throw the flicker combo with the Ruby because Kelra was still recovering from the Renus apathy committed by Domi BR. So again, Omega was able to buy more time again for this Claude and Alice, and they're able to get to that point wherein they start being a menace. Like the Claude now has Corrosion Scythe. Ryzen will likely go for concentrated energy at some point, or maybe even Rush Winter Truncheon, just to be able to outlive the damage output of NXP. Because again, if you look at the way NXP fights, it's mostly engaging on both the Fredrin and Ruby, but Yelehaze and Doming will always be sitting on the back line. They cannot risk putting themselves on the front line because there is that fact of the Claude using Blazing Duet on them, and also Renzio showing up just to wipe out the key components as to how they win fights.
Yeah, key components we're talking about, because commitment is concerned for NXPE to actually make that move. Because the longer we go to the ultra late game, that's where Omega's winning condition is.
Look at this. They're grouping up while Kelroy is farming.
Oh no.
This is not a position where you want to be in for NXP. You want to be able to push the waves, get Omega inside their base so they don't farm any minions. Alice is not getting any orbs. But right now, NXP is playing for the Waiting Lord game. But Smart Omega has been able to farm for 2 minutes with both Alice and Claude.
Yeah, big improvement on the progress of Smart Omega. And how are they able to keep this game going? It's just to buy time. Look at that, Ryzen initiating with a conceal and a hook.
Yeah, they're going to force themselves in here.
Ooh.
Lord going to be about half health now.
No.
Omega knows. They can't give this one up. They want to fight for it.
No ulti from Brusco though.
No ulti available. There's the conceal though. He finds a couple targets. Real World Manipulation goes
Renzio!
down.
Renzio!
Hunting Domeng. Pops the Wind of Nature. It's him and Renzio on the backside. Domeng's still alive. Miko is down. Lord's going to reset here. So a whole lot being thrown at both of these teams. No one able to secure it just yet. Both junglers pretty healthy. Kelra also picking up a Wind of Nature. That's going to be huge. He does have the Purify and Blazing Duet available too. Taking a shot right there. There's the Cult Altar. The pressure on the backside.
Ouch.
Boyette does secure the Lord though, but the team falling apart. Yelehaze is next. And now Omega, despite losing the Lord, they grab the kills.
Yeah.
Kelroy's awake.
I mean, if you're playing for the late game, you don't care about the second Lord at all. If NXP is not able to capitalize on it, Doming is still out, Yelehaze is still out, Brusco is still out. It's just going to be another form of farm for Smart Omega to get, and it is going to be on the hands of Renzio. His role in this game is, again, to just access the backline of NXP, and we saw that during the last team fight. Doming was not able to participate at all for NXPE.
And Renzio, he's a showstopper for a reason, because as we call it, how he even divided NXP was just amazing. He had target, he had eyes on Doming, and having that damage out against NXP was because we were talking about how this is their winning condition. Now we have 4 players being activated on the late game.
Yeah.
This is Smart Omega's card right now to even play.
Ooh, he showed up.
Boom!
I mean, Miko could have initiated there. Could have.
I feel like what we're seeing is basically NXP. They had a great lead at one point, but they're finding it really difficult to actually get those initiations in. And again, part of it is just the way the Mega is playing around their lineup, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of conceals, a lot of force entries like this. Divine Judgment can come down. Yelly Haze.
Oh, it's Haze.
Winter Truncheon. There's the return. Domang hunting for his own kills. Going to be forced back though. Ryzen now. It's Yelly Haze that is down now. Boyette still has that immortality. Kelra though, not able to get the kill on Brusco. Now on the hunt for Ding. She'll be able to get away even though he gets Stampede pulled there. They lose the tier 1, but Omega making another play, still hunting for Ding, gonna pull him again. Ding on the run. Electo final blow comes out, but how much time can he buy before he's finally caught?
Amazing.
Still going, but he finally goes down. Stone grabbing the kill.
Still buying time and pulling Omega out of the harm's way of Nexplay EVOS.
it essentially is what we talked about earlier. Ooh, Brusco missed.
Yeah, that's
Did I
tough.
offended play? Renzio. Ooh, the damage is real from Doming DR. But, however, Smart Omega is the one superior in terms of engaging, and we saw that earlier. Miko just jumping in blindly, not even counting heroes, by the way. He saw one, and he saw the right target. He saw Yellow Haze. And we were talking about it earlier as to how Smart Omega wants to initiate fights. It's mostly Miko using Divine Judgment on the Eve so that they don't have to really care about the real world manipulation, and if ever that happens, they have the Cult Altar to answer up against the Eve. So it is the way that Omega wants to initiate fights. Now for NXP, it's kind of awkward now because this is the Ruby problem that we were harping on earlier.
Yeah.
Like, how do you initiate against Smart Omega, against Cult Altar, against a Lapu Lapu, against an Alice that wants to be engaged on? Like, he's kind of a sadistic in a way.
Yeah. Well, it looks like this one they're going to have to fight for here. It's going to come down to the Retribution battle. Miko goes in, not going to be able to get it off. Ryzen secures this Lord, though. Still, Ding now looking to cut off Renzio. He was forcing him back. Boyette's going to fall. That was messy for NXPE.
And that was the Hesse of Nexplay EVOS on getting that positioning into Omega. Look at the lead, 3.3K. Now turning back the tables, now Barangay is smiling right on in this game.
Yeah, huge problem for NXP. Like, with the Alice's presence on these fights, being able to sustain and really provide this insane pressure for Smart Omega, especially with the Winter Truncheon. It's hard to fight if you're NXP. I mean, how do you select your targets? It cannot just be whoever stands in front, because if Dominic fights in front, Renzio will just jump on him. If they want to fight Kelra, they don't have any form of crowd control, especially with Kelra rocking that Purify battle spell.
Yeah.
For NXP, they have to find a miraculous play and an error coming out from Smart Omega to be able to win the late game battle.
Let's see if the Barangay commits to the error, because NXP now is on to the position of defending their own base.
Oh, Brusco?
Brusco did go in. This time they find Stone. That's a good pickup. They dealt with the Lord as well. So they only get one here, but that's an advantage for NXP to work around with. Conceal play coming out. Miko still holding on to the Divine Judgment. Might be looking for a play himself. Still going to be going. They lose the turret, though, top side. Omega's happy with it. They call it back.
Yeah, they got what they came for. And Kelra with the Wind Tower alongside the Golden Staff. Not usually the build that you see on Claude, but this provides an insane mobility for Kelra to just maneuver around these fights and catch a Beatrix off guard. And NXP, that was a nice engage again coming out from Brusco DR, but it had to be a flicker play from the Ruby. And caught Storm off guard because they didn't have Purify, and the time was not enough for him to flicker out. But, you know, being a Faramis, he respawns after 4 seconds. So.
Well, now that Omega has their hands onto the damage output, with that, Nexplay was making the right calls on who to target. The question is the defense items ready for Smart Omega? Because the lead right now just climbed back up from missing their game from mid-game.
Yeah.
And they have now full control of the map, waiting for errors. With this point, resources are so much valuable and important for Nexplay.
Yeah, I think it even matters more for Smart Omega because of a lot of the items that were built on their side primarily amplifies the way they fight, like Ryzen with the again the truncheon in the Ice Queen Wand, being able to survive and provide sustainability and also catch NXP off guard and slow them down. Well, you also have the fleeting time from Miko, so more catches for Smart Omega, and if they are successful in taking down the target they want to kill, meaning lesser cooldown with the Divine Judgment, more playing room for the Kaja.
Yeah, and fleeting time is back now in this game. And this tells that Omega can utilize those phases that they want to use, because Nexplay EVOS right now, they're building on defense and also damage, but in the right targets, they could make the right decision. Oh,
It's
look
10
at
pixels
that.
short.
It's the... Oh, okay. It was a bit of a distance needed to get a hit on Kelra, but now let's not make things go messy for Nexplay EVOS.
Well, we're back to this, right? The Lord Dance. This time it's the fourth Lord of the game.
Nico!
That's the pull boy. It's going to be a trouble here. Immortality is popped. Can they help him out? Brusco a little bit too late, and the collapse continues. Ding on the run here. Brusco getting whittled down. Another Immortality going to go. Brusco will fall here. Kelra coming out massive for Omega. And now this is the green light for this Lord as NXP gets prepped up for the defense.
NXP again, they find it so hard on engaging against Smart Omega, and it is giving a lot of space for Miko to just catch these targets on the side of NXPE. And I feel like if they ever want to hope to win against to win a fight against Smart Omega, somebody has to die on their side.
Yeah, literally throw a body. Well, Miko gets stuck.
Okay, real world manipulation committed too. Again, the defense has to be huge for NXP if they're going to lose all their inhibitor turrets here. Omega in control, got everything they wanted as they prep up this Lord come down mid lane.
Yeah, talking about the struggles of Miko back in game number 1. Now he's making the calls. Now he's making the setups work for Omega. And this lead is not going down. We on 21 minutes, and there's a lore push. The defense in a miracle polar play. Nexplay EVOS is needed to have this game back on their hands.
Keep an eye for it. The flickers, if they're going to be committed. Ryzen does go in. Lord's still going to be up here working on the crystal. It's halfway down. They finally get rid of it. Renzio, Immortality is going to be popped here. Not going to be able to get him just...
Oh, ding! Ding!
Does. Ding goes in. Another Immortality down. There's the Cold Altar as well.
Oh, wow.
Omega still alive. And they hold on to a couple Immortalities amidst it all. NXP, though, with a successful defense.
I mean, I've seen a lot, and I'm just going to say this. A lot of beautiful spells were casted at the right time. Especially with Ding. You know, that final, like the final blow, no pun intended. And with the Petrify, he was able to live on that skirmish. He was able to use Eye for an Eye, and he dodged, I think, 3 spells coming out from Smart Omega, and only Renzio died. Smart Omega, as much as they wanted to end with that Lord, they didn't have Kelra at that specific moment, so NXP found an opportunity to fight on the Smart Omega.
Now, speaking of fighting, they're now pushing in onto the mid of Omega. If you're looking at how Boyardee wanted to have a choice of the Queen's Wings, it only tells that he needed more damage reduction on the side of Smart Omega, because everyone hits, like, you can even feel every scorched power of Omega right now.
Yeah, the problem here, too, is just the immortality advantage that Omega has, because they got so many of NXPs on cooldown, and that's why you see them just being so aggressive, still trying to pretty much dominate this side of the map for, you know, even though it's still about a minute away for that Lord to come up here. So by that next fight, we should see some more immortalities on NXP and how they juggle that around, because, again, even if that's the case, one of the hardest things they're having a time with here is all the angles that Omega is throwing at them, right? And that's typically what I was talking about, with the pressure with an Alice and a Claude combination. And even
in the
with
late
Stone,
game.
Yeah, even with Stone, late game, being able to pull people all whichever way. And there's the Winter Trenchant for Ryzen.
He bought it twice now. He sold, I think, the Immortality. So I guess he's eyeing for the grow as a player thing, wherein you use Truncheon, you sell it, you buy Immortality, and you basically get a lot of delay time on the skirmishes that NXPE wants to do. And again, it's kind of an awkward it's an awkward game already for NXP, because essentially there's no angle to find. You're basically waiting for an error come out from Omega. Like, the one that they just took over, wherein they Smart Omega fought without a Claude, and the NXP was able to capitalize. So I think they have to be really keen on these micro nuances that Omega commits. If ever the Claude is a distance away, they can look to fight, but Nico, again, the flicker play.
They was looking for the Divine Judgment from Miko. Not going to be able to get it. So now it comes down to a Retribution battle unless he decides to take Boyed. Brusco has an idea too. Ryzen's going to secure it. Electro Final Blow comes out, but it's just not enough firepower for the sustain of Omega. Renzio goes in, the showstopper here in the front side. There's the Blazing Duet forcing them back. Domeng, though, covering fire himself, still on the hunt here, as Brusco, Ding, and Domeng go back to base.
Can they still defend? There's just 2 men down on NXP. That's Boyd and Yelly Hayes. Just look at how Omega went straight forward like a charge of March with full-on damage. And they didn't even care who to target.
They still have the Electro Final Blow coming out from Ding, but Nico.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Brusco, Immortality is there. Ding trying to buy some more time, trying to delay the wave coming in the mid lane. But it might not be enough. Ryzen, there's the Winter Truncheon, keeping Domeng at bay here. Immortality is going to be popped, but it's not enough. Omega takes game 2, taking us to game 3.
Smart Omega again.